Question 17, it says expand and simplify these two linear brackets. So what I need to do is use the FOIL method, and that's where I take the first term and multiply it by the first term in this bracket. Then I'm going to take the first term and multiply it by the second term in that bracket. And now I've got to the end of this bracket, I then start on the next one. So, you know, if for example you had 3 terms here, you know, I would do that term times the third term. So it's when you get to the end of the bracket, you then move on to the next one. So just label this to remind myself the order in which I'm doing this. Then I move on to the next term. So that term times the first term, that term times the second term, and again, if I had a third term here, I'm doing that term times the third term. So this is my third stage, and that's my fourth stage. So do this carefully. So 2x times 3x, so 2 times 3 is 6. X times x is x squared, so 6x squared. 2x times minus 8y, so 2 times 8 is 16. X times y, I write as xy, and it's minus, so it's minus 16xy. So note the fact that when you're multiplying letters, you write them in alphabetical order, so you would write xy rather than yx. The next one is 5y plus 3x, so times 3x. So 3 times 5 is 15, and I've got y times x, so I'm going to write that as xy, and is plus. So I'm doing plus 15xy, and then finally I'm doing 5y multiplied by minus 8y. So always look at that sign in front, because that's attached to that term. So plus and a minus make a minus. 5 times 8 is 40, and then y times y is y squared. So let's look at seeing we can simplify this. I've got minus 16xy, and I'm adding 15 lots of xy. So the xy tells you it's the same type of term. They're like terms. So minus 16xy, add 15xy would be minus 1xy. So I'm going to get 6x squared minus 1xy, I don't need to write the 1, minus 40y squared. Now, this is why it's important to write the letters in alphabetical order, because suppose I put x and y together like that, and suppose I didn't bother writing them in alphabetical order here, and I just wrote that as 15yx. Because I have xy and yx, it might not seem obvious that I can simplify that. So by putting it into alphabetical order every single time, it gives you some consistency, and it helps you work out whether you can simplify or not. So 6x squared minus xy minus 40y squared gives you 3 marks.